friends. Today we are going to take the topic of visual and creative thinking. You know, this is what we learned from Mr. Peter Pan and Willy Bonla is of Pop Labs. They have worked really very hard for uh, finding out how the visual and creative thinking can be done by the simple people. How to boost creativity because it's a demand of the world to think think visually as well as think creatively. Now, how can it be possible? This is basically for every kind of people who are senior, who are undergraduates, who are graduates, and the people who really want to think creatively. Basically, for the businessman, for any kind of profession, if you think creatively, if you think differently, then only you're going to succeed. If you're going to think differently, if you want to keep yourself apart from others, this slide is going to be helpful a lot and a lot. How it will be helpful to you if you think creatively. Now I'll tell you the process as soon as we go on the next presentation. This is Mr. Willy Wonla. What he says: there is no life I know to compare with pure imagination. Living there, you will be free if you truly wish to be. There is no life without imagination. Imagination is the thing we get since our birth is done. You see the small children's, they laugh automatically. You know what they do? Their brain starts processing. They imagine and they laugh. They imagine and they laugh. So it's a very childish behavior. Since you are small, you don't understand the languages, you don't understand A, B, C, D, but you start imagining. So imagination is a thing. It's nothing but it's childish behavior. But many people, when they come up about the age, they start they 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 don't use the power of imagination, but the imagination power is so wonderful. If you work with it, it is going to really take you to the greater heights as soon as possible. We'll take you to the next slide. Creativity is what? It is nothing but the ability to use imagination to transcend the ideas, rules, pattern, relationships alike, and to create meaningful new ideas. For example, I'm going to tell you. Previously, people used to travel by. Previously, there were no. Previously, people used to walk. But when they thought, why not we create something that we will be able to sit on that and walk? Bullock carts were invented. The bullock carts were invented. The cart used to have an animal in front. Say example, the bullock is carrying you, and here the people are sitting. You know, this the bullock carts formed. After the animals didn't have that much energy, the engines came into existence. The engines, you know, bicycle came into existence. The bicycle, people, many of these people, they started using the bicycle, and the bicycle came into existence. Now, after bicycle, there came two diesel engines came into existence by Mr. Ford. Mr. Ford was the scientist who used his idea creatively, and he formed the four-wheeler. Four-wheeler. After four-wheeler, many people didn't stop. When people wanted to travel in uh, in bulk to the longer distances. Now it was possible to carry with the longer distances by the invention of train. Train is an invention which has really made the people come together. But the people wanted to fly like a bird. By looking towards the bird, the Mr. Wright brothers invented aeroplane. This is nothing an example of thinking the power of imagination. Why can't we do that if the other people can do? Many things in the nature by observation you can rationalize and you can create the product accordingly. I would suggest you to naturally, yeah, I would suggest you to observe each and everything which is available in nature. Many of the things which the scientists have designed is really they have taken from nature. Nature is the biggest science. You know, God has created each and everything wonderfully that wonderfully that you know it has become very easy for you to observe nature, and you can have lot many of creative ideas to work out on. So I'll take on the next slide. Visual thinking. Now, two terms which are using. First is we have learned creativity, and what is visual thinking? Visual thinking is the practice of using pictures to solve problems, think through issues, and communicate clearly. Visual pictures actually Visual pictures is nothing but the power to imagination. This visual pictures is going to help you to imagine wonderfully. If you're going to imagine wonderfully, then only you'll be able to communicate very clearly. So I think if you want to think differently, you should have got good graphics and drawing quality, because this drawing quality will help you to think differently what others are thinking, and if you follow the different path, you're going to succeed to that level that you wouldn't have ever imagined. I'll tell you an example. Mr. Thomas Alva Edison. Thomas Alva Edison, he think differently that why can't we live in the world at night in the form of light? He created bulb, the bulb which has really revolutionized this world. The bulb was the invention which gave the world light. Mr. Thomas Alva Edison, after 12,000 times of failure, he discovered bulb. This when you are going to create something new, failures are going to happen. But if you have the capability to think differently, only then you are going to create history in this world, and you're going to help people. I'll tell you in the next slide about the creativity concepts more. Please watch my next slide.